everything you did at Wimbledon and at the Olympics as well. I think, once again, should we give a huge appreciation just for what But before we talk about that, what about the doubles match? You and Miles on the losing side. Give us an assessment, please.
Yeah, we were unlucky. A lot of net cards for them, missed hit returns. Miles is a great partner though, great to play with, and it's I let him down a little bit today, so.
Actually, that was one of the notable things watching you practice as well. You're apologetic when you make mistakes. I mean, was that a normal sort of practice drill that you'll put yourself through just about every day of the week?
Yeah, I mean, the first hour or so of the drills we were doing, yeah, I mean, we normally start off most practice sessions with that. I do that for an hour or hour and a half. And then, play more sort of points-based, points-based drills either after that or later in the afternoon. That's probably do that 4 or 5 days a week.
I mean, I heard an astonishing stat that in the past 4 years, I think, something like that, there's only been about 2.5 to 3 days where you haven't had a hit of some sort. Is your itinerary, you're being attacked by a wasp here, not a member of Wentworth, we'll get rid of that. But really, the downtime for you is almost non-existent, Andy, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the first tournament of the year starts pretty much January the 1st, and then the last one, most years is finished like the second to last week in November, so our off-season is from end of November through December, and then the problem with that is that the first tournaments of the year are in Australia, where it's in the middle of their summer, so it gets up to 35, 40 degrees, so we can't really take December easy, because if we went over there and tried playing in that heat, we'd obviously struggle, so I go over to Miami and train then. But after the US Open, I had 5 or 6 days off hitting, but I don't like to take more than 4 or 5 days off because I lose my timing and stuff, but yeah, it's a fun sport to play, so I'm not complaining.
And talking of timing, how good a time has the past few days been for you as it all sinks in what you achieved in New York?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, the first few days after I finished, I didn't, I hadn't really sunk in. I was just kind of, I couldn't sleep, but I wasn't like bouncing off the walls. I wasn't like unbelievably excited or happy. I think I was just in shock, really, and I was obviously very relieved. But then after a few days, when I came back home, it started to sink in a bit. And, yeah, it's obviously been the last few months, not just for me, but I think for British sport, has been an unbelievable summer. Happy to be a part of that, and it was just, I'm sure everyone will agree, the whole summer was just great in terms of the whole country. It was just, everyone was behind everyone, there was a real togetherness, and it definitely helped all of the athletes play better.
And that final was the culmination. Everybody I've spoken to since is saying, yeah, I was up at 2:15 in the morning, pacing up and down, couldn't sleep, cups of tea and all the rest. I'm sure everybody here had a sleepless night that night and watched first in huge excitement as you went 2 sets up. Then Djokovic brings it back to 2 sets all. A lot of people go, oh no, can't bear this. What was your thought process as the match developed?
I couldn't bear it either. Yeah, it was hard. I said after the 4th set, I went to the toilet and I was just thinking to myself, I've had chances to win Grand Slams in the past and sometimes haven't played my best, and I just said to myself I didn't want to let this one slip by. So I just gave 110% in that last set, and it was good enough to get me through in the end, and for the best one in my career, but apologies for making it so long.
And I know you were telling me a little bit earlier that some of your friends and family have been telling you exactly where they were as that night unfolded.
Yeah, it's just, everyone I've spoken to had their story of what they were doing that night, and some of them went to bed after a couple of sets, some of them fell asleep during the match. My girlfriend's parents watched the match in different rooms because he started arguing when he started coming back. Everyone had different stories, so sorry it was so stressful.
Well, it had a happy ending, and that's all that mattered. One of the keys appears to have been the addition to your team of Ivan Lendl. How much credit would you give to him for what's happened over the past few months?
Yeah, he's obviously helped a lot, not just me, but all of the guys that I work with. But it's important to remember that a lot of work's gone into the last few years. I've come close beforehand, and all of the guys I've worked with, obviously worked with Miles for a long period. I've worked with Daniel, all of the guys. over there for a good 4, 5, 6 years on the tour. You know, it was just that last little bit of experience maybe to get me over the final hurdle, but the whole team has helped a lot, and obviously having Ivan around, who's one of the best players ever, so he's obviously helped.
Yeah, one of the privileges we have with Sky's positioning at the US Open is seeing Team Murray in action, and there's just a fantastic togetherness and some practical joking as well. I mean, all these guys have a bit of fun every now and then, and Lendl, although he refuses to even attempt to smile when he's watching you on court, he's a bit of a practical joker off court, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he thinks he's very funny. He's got a Czech sense of humour, which you know, not everybody finds that amusing. But he's good fun to have around. He always likes a joke. He keeps all of the practices fresh and fun. And yeah, obviously he's been a good addition.
I think we saw one of his additional elements, as it were, today when you managed to hit Kevin big time, and that was one of Lendl's philosophies as a player: hit the opponent as hard as you can. I think during training you actually practice that side of things, don't you?
Yeah, well, he finds it funny. You know, like most people would get hit by a ball at 100 miles an hour and would be grabbing himself in pain or be a little bit upset, but he just laughs at it and spends the whole practice pretty much trying to hit me or Danny or whoever else is on the court with us. And if you check on YouTube later, you can see his matches when he played. He hit McEnroe quite a few times, just full pelt in the chest. He hit some guys on the head, and he just, unfortunately, finds that funny. It's not particularly sporting, but.
Actually, one thing I did want to ask you, in your semi-final against Thomas Furling on that astonishingly windy day, very early on, you went to break up, then you faced a break point. Key moment in the match, and as you came forward, you were going to win the point, your cap came off, and you very sportingly went up and had a chat with Burdick, who insisted that he'd been distracted. The rules do state, I think, deep down, that the point should be replayed again. But I know afterwards a lot of people said, well, Lendl would have gone to the back of the court, he wouldn't have given Burdick the chance even to have a chat about that, and the umpire would have given you the point. Did he talk to you about that afterwards? Is that the sort of thing you would have a chat about?
No, I didn't speak to him about it. But yeah, I just went up to the umpire and Thomas and just asked him, "Are you 100% sure that my hat came off before the ball bounced twice? If you were, I'll play a let." And he said he was, so we played the point. And that was pretty much it. But he didn't mention it to me afterwards. But it was such a tough day to play. It was so windy, toughest conditions I've ever played. But it helped me in a way.
The moral high ground, you won the match, and that's all that mattered. Now, the members here have come up with a lot of interesting questions, so we've got time just to go through one or two.